let's try something together, you and I. I will say several numbers and you say the one above them. An example, I hear you cry, all right? If I was to say the number 77, you would immediately say 78. Now, you must do it quickly, all right? So if I say 56, you would say 57, and so on. Right? Ready? Sitting by your speaker? Poised, are you? Good. 77, what's the one above it? Very good. Very good, you were very quick there. Now try and get it faster. 21, 132, 6, 154, 372, 206, 1194. I nearly got you. 78, 4099. Hang on a minute. I bet you said 5,000 then, didn't you? Well, it isn't. You play it again and have a listen. This card trick is going to take me back to my roots, which is a modern expression for saying my beginnings. I want you to take a pack of cards, shuffle them, and cut them into two halves, about equal, but it doesn't really matter, and pick up either of the two piles and count the number of cards that it contains. That could take you a little while, so whilst you're doing that, can I just explain that I come from Yorkshire and that this trick is going to take you right into the heart of Yorkshire. Right, have you counted them? Oh, well done. What I want you to do now is add together the digits in the answer. So if you cut 22 cards, you would have 4 as your answer, because you would have added the 2 and the 2 together in the 22, wouldn't you? Good. Now look at the 4th card down in the pile you're holding. You should be holding a packet of cards face down. Look at the 4th card down, but leave it in its 4th place. Or whatever number you looked at, of course. Very good. Now remember that card. Write it down on a bit of paper if you feel a bit doubtful about it. So you should be holding a packet of cards with a card that you have looked at still in its position. Put the rest of the pack on top of the little packet in your hands and turn the whole pack face up. And now the educational part of the trick. I want you to spell hocus pocus and deal a card from the face of the pack for each letter. Just deal them onto the table. So you get one card for H, one card for O, one for C, U, S, hocus, one for P, one for O, one for C, U, S, pocus. And now I come from Yorkshire, so I want you to deal one card for each letter of Yorkshire, still from the face of the pack. Y, O, R, K, S, H, I, R, E. Now the letter E should be your card, and if it isn't, do not panic, because the part of Yorkshire that I came from, and in fact where I started magic, has now been changed. Its little title is now Cleveland. So I want you to spell Cleveland. C-L-E, dealing a card for each letter. V-E-L-A-N-D. And D is your card. It's a magic place, Yorkshire. It's Silly Quickie time. I'm going to make a little bet with you if you look at the record sleeve, okay? Got it? It opens and it closes like a book, doesn't it? Well, first of all, close it. Good. Now, I'll bet I can make you kiss the book inside and outside without opening it. Oh, no, you can't, I hear you say. Well, oh, yes, I can. All you've got to do is kiss the book on the cover. Go on, kiss it. Very good. Now go out your front door and kiss it again. Then you'll have kissed it inside and kissed it outside. Oh! For this section of the record, you're going to need a pocket calculator or a desk calculator, any kind of calculator that gives you a digital readout at the top, bottom or middle. Got one? Good. Then you can play some very calculated tricks on your friends. Firstly, let me introduce you to my calculator. I call him Humphrey. Now, there's a reason for that. Just put into your calculator 0.7734. As I'm putting it into Humphrey, it sounds like this.
07734.
Very good. Now we turn the calculator upside down and read the numbers upside down. Humphrey says,
Hello, boys.
now yours will only say hello, but that's why I have to call my calculator Humphrey. Still don't understand? Well, turn the calculator back the right way up and put in, first of all, clear it, of course, 2572
2572
plus, that means you hit the little addition sign, 87
87
times, you hit the little multiplication sign, 1 2.
12.
Very good. Now just touch the equal sign and turn the calculator upside down. And that's the reason I call mine Humphrey. Because your calculator and mine will say,
Bogey. Hey, that's my name.
yeah, I know, Humphrey Bogey. All right, now let's try a trick with Humphrey and your calculator at the same time. I'm going to give you a number that I think is a magic number. 12,345,679. Did you get that in? Or was it too quick?
Hey, you're a dirty rat.
Stop doing impressions, Humphrey. All you've got to do is punch into your calculator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Starting with it clear, of course. So if you're looking along the top row now, it should read 12,345,679. Why is that a magic number?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. But we're about to do a trick with it. You can pick any number from 1 to 9, including 8, and you multiply that number by 8. So into there, what do we put?
We put in times 8.
Very good, Humph. Very good. Now we've got a funny number up there. So I want you to go times 9.
Multiply by 9.
That's right, Humph. And look at that. All you've got to do is press the equal sign, and you have got whatever number you picked spread right across the top of the screen. I did it with a 5.
A 5. My readout is saying 5555555555555.
Poor Humph. He's disappeared into his own 5s. Well now, let's try another trick with a calculator. You'll need a calendar for this.
Hey, is there any chance of a date?
Okay, so you're back, Humph. And in fact, there's a chance of 9 dates, because what we're going to do is draw a square around any 9 dates on the calendar. Any month you like. You pick a month. Got one? Now draw a square so you've got 3 dates in each row. Got that? So you might have the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, and underneath you'd have the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, and the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. That would be 9 dates in a square drawn on the calendar. Got it? So you've got them in a little box. And now this is where the calculator comes in.
Ready when you are, kiddo.
Okay, Humphrey. I'm going to put in the first number in the box, which is, of course, the lowest number and the first date. In my example, it was a 7, the 7th. So into the calculator goes the number 7.
7.
Now I'm going to add 8, and you must do the same thing. Add 8.
8.
And now, Humph, we're going to put into you a big calculation. I'm going to multiply by 9.
That's not very big. 9. Oh, well, multiply by 9. That's what the guy said.
Now, I want you to add all the 9 dates inside the box together, but do that in your head. Don't put it into the calculator. You're going to have to do a little mathematics outside the calculator. It takes a bit of doing, doesn't it? But you add them together, and then press the equal sign on the calculator.
Equals
And in my case, it's 135.
135.
And that 135 is in fact the total of the dates inside the box. 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16, 21, 22, 23. They equal 135 as well.
Hey, the kid's a genius. Can I make a comment?
Of course you can, Humph.
Okay, press the clear button.
All right, I've pressed it.
Now I want you to enter the numbers 4509.
4509, okay?
Okay, now turn me upside down.
Hey, it says gosh.
That's it. That's my comment.
Well, I'm pleased you're impressed. I tell you what we'll do. I'm going to put you, Humph, into the oil business.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and everybody else's calculator as well. Now just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that you had an oil well, working 365 days a year. Clear your calculator. I'll clear Humph.
Hey, that was nice.
Now put in 365, because that's the number of days in a year. That's how long your oil well's working.
365.
Now let's imagine it's turning out 2 million gallons of oil a day. A lot of oil, isn't it? Still, if you're going to be rich, why not be rich? So there's no need to enter 2 million, just multiply 365 by 2.
Multiplied by 2.
Thanks, Humph. Now we're going to have to pay a bit of tax on that.
One more.
Oh yeah, we've got to pay tax, Humph. Now, minus
Take away.
19.22655.
Hey, that's a lot of tax. 19.22655.
Yeah, and in fact, if you remember, Humph, that's in millions. We've simplified it. Now, what I want you to realize is you're in the oil business, you've got to have somebody deliver the oil. Press the equals sign.
Yeah, equals. So what?
Turn it upside down, the figure. Or, in your case at home, turn the calculator upside down. What does that say, Humph?
Hey, shell oil.
That's right. You can make a lot of words up using the numbers on the calculator and then turning it upside down. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 0, if you turn your calculator upside down, will read O, G, B, L, S, H, E, Z, and the last letter, I.
Hey, that's pretty good. People at home can make a lot of words up out of that.
That's right. And I want you at home to do just that. Start making up your own sums and your own little sentences and your own answers to problems.
And give a lot to think about.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are going to be looking at their calculators.
Yeah, well, I gotta go. He's looking at you, kid. You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is still a sigh. The fundamental things are applied as time goes by.
Bye, Humph. It's silly quickie time. I want you to figure this out. If a peacock lays an egg in its garden and the bird is owned by the people next door, well, who would be the rightful owner of the egg? The people who own the bird, or the people who owned the garden where the egg was laid? Baffling, isn't it? Well, I don't know how to break this to you, but peacocks don't lay eggs. Peahens lay eggs. Bye. To perform this amazing feat of magic, what you will need is a coin, a pencil and paper, and a pack of cards. Now, the pack of cards should be a normal pack of 52 cards. The jokers should have been removed, and if they have been, you are all ready to do the trick. Spread the cards out all over the table face up. That's the idea, just a mishmash of cards. Now I want you to remove any ace at all. Clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds, doesn't matter. In this trick we're not using the suits, we're only using the numbers. Now place that ace face up on the table in front of you. Take any two, a club, a heart, a spade, a diamond, and put it face up on top of the ace. Do the same thing with a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 9. Now in front of you should have a little pile of cards, 9 cards, all face up with the 9 on the top. I want you to pick up the rest of the cards, the rest of the pack. Just tidy them up and turn them face down in the centre of the table. Now pick up your little pile of 9 playing cards. Turn them face down, and without disturbing the order of the cards, take the top 3 cards together and place them to your left. Now take the next 3 cards together, don't disturb the order, and put them in front of you. Now the next 3 cards, I want you to take those and put them to the right of you. So now you have 3 little piles. One to your left, we'll call that pile A. One in the middle, that's pile B. And the one on the right is pile C. This trick really is as simple as that. A, B, C. What you do now is you pick up pile A, the one on the left, and put it on pile B. That was the one in the middle. Now you pick up pile C and you put it on top of pile A and B. So you're back to where you started, with a little pile of 9 cards. Leave them face down on the table, and you should still have the main pack of cards in front of you face down as well. Remove 1 card at a time from the little packet and put them back onto the main pack. But just whenever you feel like it, just stop. So you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, as many or as few as you like. Now you've stopped, what I want you to do is put a coin on top of that little packet of cards. Pick up the main pack, shuffle it, and cut it anywhere at all. Put some of the cards on the table, one of the heaps you've cut off, and count the cards that are in your hand. What we've got to get back to here is a single number, and you may have a number that has more than 1 digit in it when you've counted the cards. You may have 17, that's a 1 and a 7. So you would add those 2 together. You would add them together and you would get the number 8. If when you added those 2 numbers together you still had 2 numbers, you would add those numbers together, so long as you come back to a single digit. Now this is why you need the pencil and paper. Write that single digit down on the paper. Now do the same with the other pile from the main pack. You count them, and having counted them, you have to add the digits together until you arrive back at 1 single number. Write that down as well. On your piece of paper, you now have 2 single numbers. Add them together, and keep adding them together until you come down to 1 single number. Now if ever a number was arrived at by random, it has to be that one. No one could know what it is. Say that number out loud. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. How do I get out of this groove? Say it again. No. You've said it enough. Remove the coin that has been trapping the little packet of cards on the table. Take the top card that was under that coin and turn it over. It's the same number. 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 The trick that you're about to do is quite difficult to describe, so I would advise you to look at the little picture on the sleeve of the record so that you'll understand what I'm talking about. You'll need a safety pin and a match, and I recommend that you cut the head off the match or get somebody to do it for you so that you won't hurt yourself and there'll be no risk of a fire starting. Also, it will aid the illusion, but before we start all that, I must describe the various terms I'm going to use with regard to the safety pin. Pick your pin up and have a look at it. One end has a little ring. Well, I call that the loop. Do you understand that? The loop of the safety pin. Now, the other end, where the point clips in and out, I'm calling that the head of the safety pin. The bar that never ever unclips, I'm calling that the back bar. And the bar that does unclip, I call it the point bar. Right. Pick up the wooden match, and I want you to stick the point of the point bar through the very middle of the wooden match, about, well, in fact, as near halfway along as you can possibly make it. And if you're very tiny, do get an adult to do this for you, because it can be a bit dangerous. You can stick yourself with the point of the pin, and that's not funny. Oh, there you go. I've just done it myself. Right. Now, you've got to wiggle it around a bit, because a wooden match is quite a stiff thing to get it through. And you've also got to try and make sure you don't split the match. So if you're not too lucky with the first match, try it with another one until you get one impaled on the point bar. Now, by that I mean all the way through, so the point bar comes out the other side of the match. I've done mine now. Good. Now slide that along the point bar so it's about halfway along, and then close the pin. Just shut the pin and you should have a match halfway along the point bar. Good. Now, get hold of the little loop with your finger and thumb of the left hand and point the head of the pin to your right, holding the pin flat. Rotate, just turn the match so that one end of it is underneath the back bar. It's underneath the back bar, so the match is sort of pointing to you and away from you, but being headless, you don't know which end is which anyway. Now, I've got mine there. What I want you to do now is, because it's underneath the back bar, there's no way it can come up through the back bar, is there? Well, try this. Hit downwards on the end that's pointing towards you, or flick it downwards with your finger. Don't forget to grasp the pin tightly, and you'll see, there, mine's worked. The wooden end that was under the back bar is now on top of the back bar. See? It's jumped right up through it. If you listen, you'll hear it click through. There's one. I've rotated it under the back bar again, and there it is again. Only tiny little clicks, those. Right. So there you have it. If you want to make this into a bigger little illusion, if you understand what I mean, all you need to do is get a piece of wood, a soft wood is best, about 8 centimetres long and about 6 millimetres thick, and sandpaper it so that it's round. Impale it on a big pin, one of those large safety pins like a nappy pin, and paint it black with white tips so that it looks like a magic wand, and really make it Matchic.
It's Silly Quickie time.
Now, what I want you to do this time is answer 2 questions very quickly. Show how bright you are. Go on, force yourself. I want you to pronounce, first of all, this word. F-O-L-K. Out loud. What does that spell? F-O-L-K. You've got it. Folk. Very good. Okay. Let's try the second now. What do you call the white of an egg? Go. No, you're wrong. The white of the egg is not the yolk. Ooh, doesn't it make you feel daft? Roll up, roll up, roll up. In this section of the record, we're going to do some betches. Now, what is a betcha? Well, it's simple. It's the sort of thing where you walk up to somebody and say, I bet you can't do this. And that's what I'm going to do to you. In the first of the betches, all you need are 3 drinking glasses, preferably straight-sided ones, tumblers. And I want you to put them in a row on the table. Now, the tumbler to the left, that's right, the one over there, that's tumbler number 1. The tumbler in the centre is tumbler number 2, and the tumbler to your right is tumbler number 3. Now, obviously from here I can't see whether you've got the mouth up, mouth down or whatever, but what I want you to do is turn tumbler number 1 so it is mouth up, tumbler number 2 so it is mouth down, and tumbler number 3 so it's mouth up. Now you're going to follow the moves. Normally, if I was going to do this myself, I would do the moves, but you're going to do them for me. A move is a simple thing to explain. You're going to turn 2 glasses over at a time. You're going to invert them, so if they're mouth down to start with, the glass will turn mouth up, and vice versa. Alright, but you must move 2 at a time. Here we go. First of all, I want you to turn over tumblers number 2 and 3. Now turn over tumblers 1 and 3. And now turn over tumblers 2 and 3. So there you got it. 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 2 and 3. Isn't that easy? And all the tumblers are now mouth down. Got that? Good. Now, turn the middle tumbler back up again. Turn it mouth up again and start all over and see if you can remember the moves. See if you can finish up with all 3 tumblers mouth down and 3 moves. I'll bet you can't. You turn tumblers 2 and 3, tumblers 1 and 3, and tumblers 2 and 3. Are your tumblers all mouth downwards? No. See? I bet you couldn't and you didn't. My final betcha in this segment is one using a paper match, the sort that you get in a book of matches. You'll need that, and you'll need a coin. What you have to do to start the betcha off is a little bit difficult. You've got to balance a coin on its edge. Obviously, therefore, the bigger the coin, the easier that's going to be. Once you've got the coin balanced on its edge, you have to balance the match across the top edge of the coin. Now here is your betcha. I want you to try to get the match off the top of the coin. You're not allowed to blow, you're not allowed to thump the table, stamp on the floor, or create any kind of vibration in that manner. And in fact, if you have a very thin glass, you know, a luxurious drinking tumbler, you can place it over the whole setup to prevent anybody blowing it off. Now, I'll bet you can't get the match off, but you could if you used your head. That's a clue. If you want to spend a little more time working out the betches or playing with the ideas and seeing if you can work them out, then you'd best switch the record off right now, because I'm about to tell you how it's done. Okay, you're still with me. That means you want to find out. Now, when you find out the solutions, don't rant, don't rave, don't shout at me. Here on this record, I cannot hear a thing. Let's take the first betcha, the one with the 3 glasses. In my television series, I did a thing called the Bunko Booth, in which we conned people each week. The trick with the 3 glasses was in fact one of the betches we used, and millions of people were conned by a very simple move, so don't feel too put out when I tell you what it was. When I started the explanation of it, I said to you, place 3 glasses on the table. The 2 outside ones were mouth up, and the centre one was mouth down. But when you finished the moves I told you to make, and all 3 tumblers were mouth down, I told you to turn the middle one mouth up. From that position it is impossible to work this stunt. Now go and try that on a friend and drive him crazy as well. Now for the paper match explanation. I gave you a whopper of a clue. I said you can do it if you use your head, and you can. You'll also need to use a comb. You run the comb rapidly through your hair several times and hold it near the end of the paper match. Static electricity will make the match revolve off the coin, even if it's covered with a thin drinking glass. If you're bald, of course, you'll have to run the comb through somebody else's hair, which can be very exciting for both of you. Well, there's stunts you can go and try on a friend, and guess what? All your friends will disappear. It's very quick, silly quickie time. I want you this time to answer this question as quickly as you possibly can. In other words, it is a lightning-like test of your reactions, your speed, your wittiness, your brains. Which month has 28 days? February? No. All the months have 28 days. Whoops. Let's do a proper trick. To perform this trick, you're going to need a pack of cards. That's not very surprising. But you are going to need a friend with a pair of clean hands, or a relative. I'm not fussy, so long as you get them sitting opposite you and ask them to extend their hands towards you. Now, it's sometimes better if they rest their hands on a table and make sure the palms are downwards, as if they were playing a piano. Now, in the background here, you can hear a piano playing, and I'm going to use the piano player when I do the trick. You're going to do the trick on your friend at the same time. To perform the trick, there's only one thing you've got to remember. When I ask you to put cards between their fingers, you've got to stand those cards up on edge. It'd be a lot easier for them to grip them that way. Now, if you look at their hands, they've got 2. That's an even number. They've got 2 thumbs. That's even. You've got 4 fingers on one hand. That's even. 4 fingers on the other side. That's even. Making 8 fingers altogether, another even number. And if you use the thumbs, 10 is the final even number. Except if you look between. If you look between their fingers, spaces. And how many are there? 8. Another even number. Now, those spaces are the spaces we're going to fill in and the ones we're going to use in the trick. So, your friend's sitting there, hands face down, hands towards you. Good. Take 2 cards and put 2 cards between the little finger and the next finger of his right hand. Now, that's obviously over to your left. So just put 2 cards, don't forget, stand them up on edge in that space. Put 2 cards in the next space. Now, as you can hear, I'm doing this on the pianist, which isn't doing a lot for the music. The next space, fill with 2 more cards. And finally, between the finger and thumb of their right hand, 2 more cards. So each space has been filled with an even number of cards, and that's what we're doing all the time. Even numbers. Now let's move across to his left hand. Put 2 cards in the finger and thumb space, 2 cards in the next space, and 2 cards in the next space. Now, there's only 1 space left. And just in that little space, look, don't tell anybody. Well, all right, tell him. Hold up an odd card. Point it out. Show your friend it is an odd card. It's the only odd thing we use in the whole trick. Put it in the final space. So now, everything's even except that 1 card. The piano player now cannot play the piano. Your friend can't do very much either. So we're going to go and remove all the cards. And we're going to go back to the space we started, right over on your left-hand side, his little finger of his right hand. Take the 2 cards out, separate them. Put them into 2 little piles. 1 in front of his left hand, 1 in front of his right hand. Just put them on the table. Fantastic. Take the next 2 cards along. Split them, put them on top of the first 2. Take the next 2 cards. That's right, separate them. You've got the idea now. You're making up 2 piles. You're splitting each pair evenly as you're working your way back again from left to right. Splitting them up and making 2 piles until you get to that odd card. Now take the odd card and put it on the pile that's in front of the hand you've just removed it from. Now that pile now contains an odd card. What I'm going to ask you to do now is look at the record sleeve, because to make the magic happen, you have to push the magic spot. When you push the magic spot, on my instruction, the odd card will travel across to the other pile. Are you ready to push it? 3, 2, 1, go. Now, I'll bet you didn't see the card go across, did you? But you pick up what is to you the right-hand pile. You just pick up the pile that's on your right-hand side, the one that had the odd card in it. Take 2 cards off and insert them into the space between your friend's little finger and the finger next to it of his left hand. That's right, where previously the odd card rested. Now fill in the next space with the next 2 cards, and the next space with the next 2 cards. And look at that, you've got 2 cards left now. Put them between the finger and the thumb. His left hand is now full, as is the left hand of my pianist. On the other side, you've still got the other pile standing. Pick it up, it now contains the odd card. Put 2 cards between the finger and thumb of your friend's right hand. 2 cards between the next 2 fingers, 2 cards between the next 2 fingers, and there it is, the odd card to put between the final space of the little finger of his right hand. Now, isn't that odd? Well, it's time I went for a tea break, and I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of one of the fastest characters in Matchic, Wizbit, the super midget magician. Are you there, Wizbit? Okay, away you go.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to be appearing on Paul Daniel's record. I'm going to do a trick with you and for you. And we're going to make a Christmas tree together, a fir tree. All you need is a newspaper about the size of the sun, the mirror, any of that size newspapers. And what you're going to do is glue 4 sheets of it together into a long sheet of newspaper. If you use comic papers, the end result will be very colourful indeed. You roll up those newspapers into a tube about 2 inches in diameter. And then when you've got that rolled up, all you do is very simple. You cut down to halfway down the length of the tube, and you do it 4 times. So you make a cut. That's the idea. Say if you're looking at the end of the tube at 12 o'clock, then you make a cut halfway down the tube at 3 o'clock, halfway down the tube at 6 o'clock, halfway down the tube at 9 o'clock. There's a little drawing on the slate to help you understand exactly where you cut it. Good. Now you fold those cuts back outwards. You hold the tube at the bottom, or hold it, secure it with a rubber band. But then you fold those leaves outwards. Put your finger down the middle of the tube and pull upwards, and you will see your Christmas tree start to grow. From 4 sheets of normal size newspaper, you probably get something about 5 feet high. Whoops! Here's Paul back from his cup of tea. Bye for now.
Goodbye, Wizbit. Funny little fellow, isn't he? Hang about. What's all this paper all over my studio? I think the best way for me to illustrate this problem to you is to take you over to one of our major dramatic theatres, Paul's Playhouse, in which the part of the father, hello, my name's Alf, will be played by me. The part of the baddie, oh, there you go, my name's Clive, innit, will be played by me. And the ever-lovely daughter,
laddie, me name's Caroline,
will be played by me as well. It's a funny little play, this. So the play commences.
Father, what's the matter?
Well, lass, I owe money to the landlord, and I cannot pay. Clive the rent collector is due here any minute. Come in. Oh, good morning. I've come for the rent, haven't I? Well, I've got nought for you. Oh, good. Then it's the workhouse for you, boy. Boo, boo. Oh, no, not the workhouse for my father. All right. I tell you what I do. I offer you an alternative. Instead of taking the rent money, I'll take your daughter Caroline in marriage. I'll marry the wench.
I'll not hear of that.
Hooray! Hooray! You may have noticed, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm also playing the part of the audience. Not many people come to Paul's Playhouse. Ah, well, meanwhile, back at the plot. I tell you what I do. I could insist, of course, on the marriage or the workhouse, but I'll give you a chance. Your path outside is pebbled, isn't it? Ah, it is. Oh, yes. Well, the pebbles are black and white. Aye, they are. Yes, they are. Well, into my little cloth rent bag, I'm going to place 2 pebbles. One black one, one white one. Your daughter can then place her hand into the bag, without looking, mind you, and remove 1 pebble only. If she takes the white one, the debt is null and void. That's even in it. Oh, Father, what are you going to do? Do I understand that right? That if she takes white pebble, the debt is null and void, and you don't have to marry her? Aye, that's the bet, innit? Well, I suppose it's a 50-50 bet. Aye. Go on, lad. Get the pebbles. All right. I'm outside now, and what I'm going to do is evil. Boo! I'm going to place 2 black pebbles in the bag. Wench hasn't got a chance then, has she? No way she can get the white pebble out. Oh dear, I'm looking out of the window, and I can see. Look, should I tell me Dad? He's taking 2 black pebbles and put him in the bag. What am I going to do? If I take black pebble out, he'll say I have to marry him. Maybe I should do that and save me father from workhouse. Ah. On the other hand, should I expose him as evil? No, then he will send me Dad to workhouse. Oh, all right, everybody, all outside now. You've got to pick a pebble, Caroline. Boo, boo. What am I going to do? Oh, can I ask for help? I know. Paul, can you help me? Well, I suppose I could help her and tell her out loud what it is, but I'm not going to. The answer is to think sideways. Just like you at home have got to think sideways to solve the problem. And if you really get stuck and you can't solve it at all, drop us a line to the address that's on the sleeve, and we'll send you the solution. Bye for now. Go and put your coat on, because it's silly quickie time, and you'll need a coat. Right, now I'm going to time you. I'll bet you can't button up your coat in less than a minute, starting from now. Well, that was very good. Except that you didn't button your coat up. Right? You buttoned it downwards. So you buttoned your coat down. You were wrong. If I was to tell you it's possible to float a needle on top of water, you'd probably say it's impossible. Well, let's try the impossibilities. What I want you to do is get a tumbler and fill it with water. Or a wine glass will do, but a tumbler's got that bit bigger top and it makes it easier. Now, if you're going to do any trick with water and glasses or cups, anything like that, just work on top of a tray or a plastic table so that you can easily wipe up the mess if you make one. You'll need a piece of tissue paper about half the size of a cigarette paper, just a couple of inches by an inch, whatever. Doesn't really make any difference because you're going to float that on the water first. Just lower it on and it'll stay there. Now you'll need a needle. Rub the needle between the palms of your hands. Grip it in your palm of your hand, but be very, very careful. Don't prick yourself. Now you've got it well rubbed. Fine. You're infusing it, you see, with your own magnetic personality. Grasp it twixt finger and thumb, and gently, ever so gently, lower it onto the paper that's floating on the water that's in the drinking glass that's on the plastic table. Now, ease your finger and thumb open, take it away, and the needle is there on top of the water. Aha, you say, but it is floating on top of the paper that's on top of the water. And I cannot argue. So, the next bit is even more difficult than the lowering of the needle. You can use a pencil or a pen to do this. I can use my fingers, but then I have great digital dexterity. Not many people know that. You've got to ease the paper down into the water. Ease it down. Push it ever so gently away. Now, this takes time. Ease it down, and the paper will sink, leaving the needle floating on top of the water. If at first you do not succeed, you must use a completely new needle, completely dry. You can't do it again with the same needle. And the reason we call this trick the Titanic is because most of your efforts in the beginning will probably sink without trace. Shame. If you like trying crazy stunts, and you must do, otherwise you wouldn't have bought this record, here's a Lulu. What do you mean I speak with a forked tongue? What you've got to do is first of all take a wine glass. Later on we'll be trying this with something completely different, but for now, a wine glass. Fill the wine glass to the brim, right to the brim, so that you get that little hangover edge, you know, so when you look right close down the side, you can see a little sort of raised bit on the water. Done that? Well, if you have, you might like to try this. You take a handful of pins and start lowering the pins into the water one at a time. It's up to you to find the best way, whether you put them head first, point first, sideways, in the middle of the glass, toward the edge of the glass. You find the best way, because it's a challenge to yourself. You've got to get as many pins into the glass as you possibly can. And I think you're in for a bit of a surprise as to how many you actually can get into that glass. Once you've developed the idea, we want you to try this. Take a half-pint tumbler, standard measure half-pint tumbler, and fill that to the brim. And I'd like you to try and get as many pins into that without spilling a drop of water as you possibly can. And if you want to qualify for what is written on the sleeve of this record, well, you'll have to have 2 independent witnesses there to prove you never spilt a drop, and you may be called upon to do it in public again, sir, or madam. This next trick, you'll have to be a little bit well off to do it. I'm going to use 6 coins and a piece of paper money. Now, that can be a 5 or a 10 or a 20, a 50. It depends just how much you've got standing around the house. Now, you can do it at home as I perform it actually on stage, here before this magnificent audience. Enough. You see the control I have over them. Now, my audience, I need a volunteer, one volunteer, anyone at all. Put your hand up. Thank you. Gentleman right over the other side. Would you come over here, please? Onto the stage. Thank you. Now, what's your name?
Martin?
And is this the first time you've ever been on a stage?
Aye, it is.
And where are you from, Martin?
Why, I'm from up the north.
Fantastic. So am I. Well, now, we've never met before, have we?
Nah, not at all, our dad.
I see. Have you got any money in your pocket?
Why, aye.
I want you to take out 6 coins. Yeah, they'll do fine. Yeah, the handful you've got there, just count 6 out of them. And now a piece of paper money, a 5 or a 10, a 20, a 50.
Oh, I've only got a pound note.
Well, all right, a pound note, that'll have to do. Now, what I want you to do is take your money and go as far away from me as possible. The fool's gone out the door. Hey!
I'm sorry, I went out the door.
Yes, well, that doesn't matter. Just come to the table on the other side. Thank you. Now make a row of the coins. This is going to be a long show. And now I'm going to turn away from you. I'm going to turn away from you, and I want to put the pound note. I want you to put it anywhere at all you like in that row. Now, it can be at an end, it can be in the middle, it can be anywhere, as long as you've got a straight row of coins with a pound note in it.
I've done that.
6 coins and a pound. Now, let me tell you what I want you to do. Very soon, you're going to make a set of moves. Now, a move is simple to understand. You pick up the pound note and a coin that's next to it, and you exchange their places. In other words, you put the pound note where the coin was, the coin where the pound note was. Now you can do this in either direction if the pound note is in the middle of the row, but if it's at one end, you've only got one coin you can swap it with. So when I tell you to do it, you will make a move with a pound note and a coin. All right, do you understand that?
Why, aye, I'm not daft.
Great. Now what I want you to do is remember this. With my back turned to you, I can't see the pound note, right?
Now you can't see from over there.
I want you also to remember this. That when you make the moves, you have a choice of going in either direction from the pound note. Okay? Now, count the position of the pound note in the row, whether it's position 1, position 2, position 3, and so on. It doesn't matter which end you count from, as long as you get a number.
Right?
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to make a number of moves equal to the position of the pound note.
Pardon?
Now, that's a little complicated, so what I want you to remember is this. If it was a position number 3, you make 3 moves. You swap it 3 times with a coin next to it.
Ah,
Have you done that?
aye, I've done it.
Now, there's no way I could know where the pound note is.
No.
So, I want you now to make a move. No, not over here. You swap the pound note and go back.
No, I'm not daft.
Now, have you done it?
Aye.
Fine. Now, make another move. Swap the pound note and the coin again. Now, my extrasensory perception reaction tells me that there is a coin at each end of the row. Pick up the coins at each end of the row, one from each end, and put them into your pocket.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's your money to start with. Now make 3 more moves. Swap the pound note and the coin 3 times, but you can move in any direction on any move. Now, I think there's a coin at each end of the row again.
That's amazing.
Pick those up, one from each end, and put them in your pocket.
Thank you very much.
Now, make a move. No. Look, you've done it again. You're over here. Go back and swap the coin and the pound note.
Oh, I remember now. I'm sorry.
Now, you've done that, so pick up the coin that's on the far left.
Aye.
And finally, make one more move. Stop!
Huh?
Go back. Now pick up the coin that's on the far left. And I'm coming across now to join you. See, all that's left on the table is the pound note that I couldn't have known the position of at any time during the trick.
No, you couldn't. That's a fantastic trick.
I know.
Will you teach me that, or Dad?
I'm not alone in this studio, you know. I'm surrounded by recording engineers, producers, directors, cameramen. Cameramen? Oh, well. And they've given me a problem, which is driving me doolally. I'm going to read it out to you as straight as I can, just in case there's any secret in the intonation. It's just a straightforward sentence. It says, a brick weighs £1.50 a brick. What is the weight of the brick? A brick weighs £1.50 a brick. What is the weight of the brick? Now, I've looked at it. I've tried arguing with myself about it, and I can't work it out. Now, if you can work it out, write to your local MP, your local TV station, your newspaper, and send them down here. Send them down here to rescue me, trapped in this studio, trying to work out. A brick weighs £1.50 a brick. It's driving me crazy. I'm going out of my mind. I'm going crazy. Pharaoh's finger taken #1. Boom. I'm a little devil when it comes to practical jokes, and if you enjoy a joke, this is a lovely one to pull on a friend. I can't tell you. You'll see women go white when you do this. You've got to get yourself a box a little bit bigger than a matchbox. And if it can have hieroglyphics on it or even loroglyphics, it'll be a lot better. What you're going to persuade them is that you've got this relic of ancient Egypt, you see, this Pharaoh's dead finger. And when you open up the box, sure enough, resting on the cotton wool base is an obviously dead finger. Now, you ask the lady, or the gent if he's weak, to stroke it or touch it. Most of them won't. But if you can keep at them, talk them into doing it, the moment they touch the finger, it jumps. And so will they. How do you make it? It's very easy. There's a hole in the bottom of the box, and it's your finger that's poked up through the hole and laid on the cotton wool inside. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's a sliding box or whatever, you just have to adapt it so that you can remove a lid. Got that? Good. Now, it also looks best if you dab onto your finger some white powder, talcum powder stuff. Make the finger look, bloodless. And then, to give a blood effect, dab on some tomato ketchup round the base of the finger and pad the cotton wool up and fluff it round. You'll get the idea. It's a beautiful gag. Mind you, try to do it on somebody who hasn't got a weak heart. I want you to listen to this very carefully. It's the sound of a riffle shuffle. And that's what I've just done with a pack of cards. Now I'd like you to do it with your pack of cards. That's it. Just give it a riffle shuffle. Now if you spread the cards out once you've riffle shuffled them, just spread them out in front of you without disturbing the order. Somewhere in there, I think you will find a jack and a 7 together. I'm not telling you what the suits are, but I think a jack and a 7 will be together somewhere in the pack. Have a look. Is that right? Good. Now that's like a coincidence, isn't it? But if you want to try it one more time, all right? If you want to try it one more time, just give them another riffle shuffle, all right? And spread them out again. And I think this time you'll find a king and a 3 together. Now, I published this once in a book, and for a lot of people, it didn't work the first time because they were doing overhand shuffles. But do work on the riffle shuffle and have a look through, and you should find those two together. And the other thing is, if they're not together, give them one more riffle shuffle, and they will be. A new pack of cards, or a newish pack of cards, helps, and you can do this, strange but true, if you're at any kind of card party, bridge party, or just at a party, and you take a pack of cards out, or their pack of cards, it'll work. It's one of those funny old things. So don't forget, this is what you've got to practice. Good luck. I think you'll find this is one of the most puzzling tricks on the whole record. And the reason I say that is usually when you've done it, you have no idea why it works. But it does. However, what you will need is a pack of cards, a tabletop on which to work, and you'll need the ability to do a riffle shuffle. Right. Now shuffle the cards any way at all that you are familiar with. Just give them a good mix-up. And I want you to cut the pack into 3 heaps. Now, I don't want to be too near you. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go to the other end of the studio and I'll turn my back. Just hang on. Right. Now, I think you'll agree that from here, I can't see what you're up to. What I want you to do is cut the pack into 3 equal piles on the table. They don't have to be exactly equal, just approximately equal. Now, once you've done that, you've got a free choice now of any one of those 3 piles. Pick one of the piles up. That's it. Now give that pile a shuffle. Well done. Now you've got them well mixed. You've got a pile shuffled there from a pack of cards that you shuffled and cut. You've had free choices all the way. Look at the top card of the pile you've got in your hand. Hold them face down. Then pick up the top card and have a look at it. Now you must remember that card. Now what you're going to do is put it back on the top of that pile that you've got in your hands. Keep them all face down. And we're going to make a funny kind of sandwich. Turn the cards in your hands so they're all face up. And put them down on top of one of the other piles. Now pick up the pile you haven't used yet and just put it on top of all the cards so they're all together. See what I mean by sandwich? You've got some face down, some face up, some face down. Now you've got to cut the cards into two approximately equal piles again. Have you got that? So they're sort of about the same in each half. And do a riffle shuffle. Oh, hang on. A riffle shuffle? You remember, it sounds like this. Got the idea? Hang on, don't do it yet. I'll go back up the other end where I can't see. Right. Have you got the idea now? Good. Do a riffle shuffle then. Very good. Now holding all the cards in your hand, turn them over. Now spread them across the tabletop in a straight line. Don't whisk them all over the table, just sort of spread them out in a nice straight line so they're equally spaced. Thank you. Now if you look, you've got a big mess there, some face up, some face down, haven't you? But you'll have one lot of cards that are all face up together, more than any of the other piles. Have you seen it? Like a clump of cards, all face up. A long run. Oh good, you found it. Now what I want you to do is start from the right hand edge of that long run and work your way along it till you come to the first face down card that'll be at the left hand edge of the long run. Slide that out onto the table. Don't turn it over, I want to see the end of this. Hang on. Oh, I hope this works. Turn it over. Oh, I hope you got that right. Look, if you didn't, play the record again. I can't run up and down here all day.